Good afternoon. Welcome and thank you for joining us once again on today's episode of the Teen Talk Show on Walikia TV with YUSUF. Do watch us live every Saturday on our Facebook page at Walikia TV and do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like, share, and leave a comment at the comment section below. Today on the show, I have my special guest with me, and we are gonna have a special interview with our special guest today. Stay tuned, like, and also leave your comments at the comment section below. Uh, Madam, welcome to the program.
Thank you. I'm very glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Today we are gonna have a very special interview with you,
Okay.
and we do really appreciate your time on this program.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, we would like you to introduce yourself to our audience and our viewers. Would like to know your name and who you are.
Okay. Well, I am Kia Michelle IYABO Barnes LADAN. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, in the United States of America.
Wow, thank you. So basically, you have this name Yabo attached to your name.
Yes.
As an African American, some might want to know how did you get that name and what does it mean?
Wow, that it's a really interesting story, and it's something that's very special. I had a very special a very special meeting
Okay.
with the Yoruba king
Okay.
yesterday and his elders, and we had a wonderful conversation. I had explained to him that for years now, almost 2 decades, I've always had this yearning,
Okay.
this burning desire that would never go away to find my true identity.
Mhm.
Years later, I met Sheikh Firdos,
Okay.
and when I was with him going to his speeches, going around in a Muslim community,
Mhm.
a lot of people would always ask me, "Well, what country are you from?" And I would say, "From the United States of America."
Mhm.
And sometimes people here, even in Africa,
Mhm.
would ask me the same question: "What country are you from?" Like the United States of America. So I had an aunt who actually did the DNA genetics test,
Okay.
and it came back that I was from a small tribe in maybe Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, one of those countries.
Okay.
Well, I found out that I was actually a Yoruba.
From Nigeria.
And when I found that out, my soul was like so content. I lived in the United States of America most of my life,
Mhm.
but I never really felt comfortable in the United States of America. There was always that burning question in the back of my mind: there's got to be more to life than this.
Okay.
And I would have these dreams sometimes about being in places that I've never been, but they were familiar to me. When I sat with the king yesterday, I explained those things to him, and he had a nice talk with his council of elders, and they gave me that special name, IYABO,
Okay.
IYABO.
Yeah. Well.
And that name means the mother or the grandmother has returned.
Oh wow.
It's a very special name. It's not a common name, but it is a name given to little girls
Okay.
of parents whose parents have died.
Wow.
And because of the ancestry,
Mm-hmm.
the grandmother or the mother, they say, has returned.
Wow. Interesting. That is very nice. But it is good to know our background, and
Mhm.
also very important to explore what's beyond our existing knowledge. Yeah, that's very nice. Thank you.
Yes.
But having been someone who has spent most of your life in the United States,
Mhm.
when did you become a Muslimah and what actually influenced that?
Well, that's another interesting story. I grew up in a Christian home, a very strict Christian home.
Mhm.
When I graduated from college, I had an opportunity to move out of the state of Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
At the time, I was expecting, but I didn't know I was expecting. And this, like as I said, was before I actually became a Muslim. And I had a miscarriage at almost 7 months. So literally 1 week, I could feel my baby moving inside of my stomach,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next week was just nothing. It was gone. It was a very heart wrenching experience for me. Um, I was very angry. I went through a lot of emotions. And a friend of mine,
Mm-hmm.
we were talking one day, and they introduced the Quran to me.
Okay.
There's an ayat in the Quran, in Surah Al-Baqarah. I can't recall the exact ayat right
Okay.
now,
Okay.
but it goes that perceive not those that you perceive who are dead or slain in the way of Allah are not dead, but you can't perceive that they are with us. And when I read that, it was like a weight was lifted up off of my shoulders. That night, I had a dream. I was going into this house and I could hear this baby crying. When my son was born, he was very premature. His skin was kind of transparent, where you could see all of his veins. His eye slits hadn't opened yet.
Mm.
But when I was answering the call of this baby, and I was looking everywhere, and when I finally found him, he was full size, a healthy looking baby. He had a head full of curly hair,
Mm-hmm.
and there was nothing that I needed to say or think about. I just knew that was my baby. And I got a chance to hold him,
Mm-hmm.
to cuddle him, and he did the, making the baby sounds
Yeah.
and everything. And after that, there was absolutely no doubt, there was no question
Mhm.
in my mind that what I had read in that Quran was the truth. And my heart was open. The anger, the sadness, the depression was gone, because this was literally saying to me, my child, don't cry. It's okay.
Mhm.
Your son is with us.
Okay.
He's with us.
Yeah.
He's fine. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Okay. I don't want to cry thinking about
That
that.
oh
But it was a very very touching series of
yeah,
events.
yeah. That is really emotional also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. But you did mention that you are actually originally from a Christian family, right?
Yes.
So how many Muslims do you think you have in your family?
Myself and my daughter.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
I'm actually the only practicing Muslim in my family. And my conversion sparked a lot of concerns,
Okay.
and rightfully so, I guess.
Wow.
Um, my attitude changed toward life. My way of dress changed. A lot of things that I had done in the past, I no longer did. And I had a few people that were watching me very closely
Mm-hmm.
in my family. But once they saw that I was steadfast in what I was believing,
Mm-hmm.
that they couldn't sway me. Some of them were like, oh, she's lost the baby, just give her time.
Yeah.
But I never swayed. I was steadfast in what I believed in the way that I practiced it.
Wow.
And once they saw the change in my behavior, they knew that, okay, she's going to be fine. She's okay.
Something has changed.
She's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is very nice. Having you and yourself and your daughter actually only being the Muslims in your family.
Hmm.
That is a very brave and courageous step to take. And I think it is a good thing to see the light and everything.
Hmm.
So can you just your daughter, what is her name?
Jasmine Aaliyah Tucker.
Wow, Jasmine. Can you tell us a little brief about her?
Yes. Jasmine, I have two children. One is deceased. Jasmine is my only living child. She will be 23 on August the 2nd. She currently attended Lincoln University in Oxford, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And she is a brilliant young lady, I must say. I must say. I love her dearly. When I was going through my master's degree at Trinity University in Washington, D.C.,
Okay.
I would bring her to class with me sometimes. And she would sit in the back with her coloring book and her crayons, and I would motion to her. And she's been with me on my hip from day one. So she's also a young lady who's very determined. She's very generous and compassionate. I love her because, yes, I'm her mother, but I also like her
Wow.
because she's a beautiful soul.
Nice.
She's a
Nice.
beautiful soul.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm having a really nice and interesting conversation right now, and it's very, encouraging to other people. So, what actually influenced you into education?
Ah, I graduated from Lincoln University in 1991 with bachelor's degree in English liberal arts. And my initial intention was to attend law school. I graduated, I was home during that summer, and I was really, really trying hard to find a job. And there were just no jobs available. I remember sitting at home watching the television, and a commercial came on TV. School District of Philadelphia needs substitute teachers. And so that was something that I wanted to do until I could get full time employment. At that time, just really young. I really didn't like kids too much. You know, they were too little, they jump around, they make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
But once I went on my first couple of assignments, I discovered that that was my talent. I could relate to the students so easily. Even though I was a substitute, they didn't misbehave because the regular teacher wasn't there. And they would always ask me questions. What country are you from? But questions beyond the curriculum.
Hmm.
And sometimes their stories got personal. And I found out that some of them were homeless, they'd lost their parents, they'd been victims of crimes. And the more and more I worked with the children, that talent that I had was being crafted, it was being polished, it was being refined. And so I actually left the city of Philadelphia
Mhm.
and I moved to Prince George's County, Maryland,
Nice.
where I was able to get a full time teaching position
Mhm.
on the condition that I would take 6 credits every semester to finish the education portion of my English degree because I was going to law school, not into education.
Yeah.
Once I transferred here, again, children are children everywhere. They was always interested in who I was, where I came from. Um, the children, I can say this: children are precious gifts.
Mm.
Each one to be open at their specific time.
Wow.
As I gave them, they gave me. I helped them to learn, to read, to write. And as they opened up, I opened up as well
Wow.
because that's when I got my fulfillment. And at that time, I didn't have any children because my son had passed, but I still got the love from the students at school.
Nice.
And when I would come to work, they would always come see me walking down the hall and they'd come running. Oh, Miss Barnes, how are you, Miss Barnes? Did you have a nice weekend? What are we going to do today? My principal actually pulled me aside one day and she said, Miss Barnes, what's going on in your classroom? I said, learning, of course. But why do you ask? She said, because Students always seem to be lined up at your door before time to enter the classroom. She said, usually we have to chase them out of the hallway to
Wow.
get the class. She said, but your students are always standing there so nicely. And she would actually come into my classroom unannounced frequently to see what was going on in the classroom. But I think it was the genuine relationship, the mutual respect that I had with my students. They knew that I cared for them. And so they worked extra hard.
That's very
And I
beautiful.
was proud of them for that.
Nice. Nice. So, but we learned that you're the only female hijab wearing administrator in the whole PG County, Maryland.
Yes.
How true is that? And can you elaborate more on that?
Sure, sure. There are other Muslims who work in the school system. At first, I didn't know them, but what happened was when I would go to the massages for Jumu'ah on Friday, I saw a couple of ladies. Oh, I never knew she was a Muslim. Oh, okay. And then they would come to work that following week, makeup, hair done, short
Okay, so they
skirt.
didn't have the hijab.
Oh, no, 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 no. And so when I started wearing my hijab and I was promoted to the administrative level, it piqued a lot of interest because Maryland is a state in the South and it made a lot of people uncomfortable. But I was never uncomfortable in who I was. And I never had the thought of, oh, well, let me take off this hijab so I can climb the ladder of success because I believed in this. I will die for this. This is who I am. And surprisingly, there was a lot of backlash. I got a lot of pushback.
Yeah, onto that, I was gonna ask about being a Muslimah in hijab.
Mhm.
What are some of the discriminative challenges that you face at work?
Hmm. I was assigned to one school as an administrator. This is on the elementary school level. And every school in the county has a website. Principal, assistant principal. Principal had a very nice picture of herself with her name underneath. On the opposite side of hers, there was a nice little square
Mhm.
where my picture should have been, but my name was underneath.
Hmm.
And I just could not believe that. I thought that was so cruel
Yeah.
and horrible. But it didn't dampen my spirits because my connection was with the students. I'm like, okay, I'm not on the website, but I know the work that I do here at the school. Another instance was this was maybe sometime after 9/11. I would speak to parents over the phone because their children wanted to know who is Miss Barnes, and I would always call them to talk about their children. What's going on at home. I noticed your son. He hasn't been acting, the same way. He's shutting down. Is there anything I can do to help? And these parents would open up to me about some really personal things. Some of them, their husbands were beating them at home. Their rent money was stolen. They may have gotten evicted out of their home. And we had some really genuine conversations. And I say that to say this.
Hmm.
Over the phone, they love Miss Barnes. I came to work one day. I had two parents sitting in the office.
Mhm.
I walked in, Abaya, Jobab.
Yeah.
Good morning, how are you? Can I help you? And they responded, no. Okay, no problem. So I go back to my office, and the secretary comes and she says, "You have two parents out here waiting to see you." And so I just started smiling because I knew what two parents she was talking about.
Yeah.
So after I put my things down in my office, I got prepared to receive the parents. I came back out into the lobby, and the secretary was like, "Oh, Mr. and Mrs. So and so, this is Miss Barnes." And the look on their faces, they were so shocked to find out that I was this nice young woman who was giving advice, who was so loving, who was so caring, that they'd had a relationship over the phone for many months. But when they actually saw this, they didn't treat me so well.
Wow.
But anyway, being the person that I am, I invited them into my office, and we sat down, and we eventually got back to that genuine place. And they actually apologized to me. They said, we didn't know that was you. I said, "That's all right. I understand."
Wow.
We all make mistakes, but it's nothing that can be recovered.
Wow. Nice. So, Ms. Barnes,
Mhm.
what advice and guidelines do you have for parents, for Muslim parents regarding their children education?
Investigate, investigate, investigate.
To investigate.
Yes. Monitor, just like you monitor who your children are with and where they are. Monitor what goes on in that classroom. Parents always have a right to sit in the classroom and watch whatever lesson is being taught. In my years of education, I've come to realize that all teachers don't like what they do. Some of them are really there just for the paycheck. They give students worksheets and they go sit at the desk. They read the paper, talking on the phone. They're doing everything except for teaching. So not only is instruction not going on, your tax dollars are being wasted. Teachers can be mean, they can be cruel to students. I've seen some teachers yell in children's faces. And of course, as an administrator, I had to address that in my office. Sometimes teachers can be intimidating, they intimidate students, and the child will feel, wow, I can't go home and tell my parent because my parent won't believe me. They will automatically believe the teacher. So, in addition to those days that are set aside for parent conferences,
Hmm.
when teachers make everything look nice when company's coming,
Okay.
you need to pop up unannounced and see what's going on in your child's classroom.
Right.
Not every teacher loves their job.
Right.
And even the students. Bullying is a serious issue.
Among the students.
Yes. And I believe it's universal. I've seen students get together, conjure up things that were not true about other students. And these may be students who just, no, I did my homework last night. You should have done yours. I'm not going to allow you to copy my work. Okay. So the rest of them would get together and invent something that wasn't true about that student. And so when the teacher first investigates, and I'm going to ask this student, that student, I'm going to ask this student, and if all of them tell me the same thing, then that means you're going to get a phone call home to your parent. And the child is like, but I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Parents have to know their children and they must know their teachers. The normal parent's response would be, okay, you say you didn't do it. Is the teacher lying? Is everybody lying? Everybody's saying that you did this. And in fact, It's not true. So parents have to be very careful. They have to always maintain a line of communication with their children so their children will not be afraid to come to them and tell them things that are going on in the classroom. And you monitor that situation because if I call your house on Monday and your mom's in my classroom on Tuesday, that means on Wednesday, no, there's no recess for you. I'm going to give you some extra work. So it's a constant monitoring of what's going on in the classroom.
Yeah. Okay, I would like to admonish our audience to like, share, and also leave your comments at the comment section below. Ms. Brown's advice to parents was to investigate and also ensure a healthy parent-child relationship. Okay, Ms. Barnes,
Mhm.
how do you like it here in Ghana?
Oh, wow. I absolutely love it here in Ghana. This place feels like home to my spirit, to my soul. I love everything about Ghana, the culture, the food, really the food. I really love the food. But the culture is so um, enriching, it's soul feeding. And it's a place that seems very familiar to me. Even though this is my second time in Ghana, I feel like I've been here for most of my life.
Wow,
Yeah.
nice. Thank you. So Ms. Ban, before we actually wrap up our show for today,
Mhm.
before we wrap up our show for today, how did you met Imam Fidos Laden?
Oh, there was a mosque that I went to that was down the hill from where I used to live, and I saw a flyer, and he was actually one of the guest speakers that was going to be at the mosque that day. And ordinarily, I would not have gone because it was the weekend. I'm tired from work. I just want to take some time to to review some reports and prepare some teacher observations for my meeting with my principal. And I just, can't just do something different for once. And I went to his lecture and I was completely captivated by what he was saying. And sometime later, when I was interested in getting married again, a mutual friend, he said, I have somebody that I think you would like. I'm like, okay, make sure that he's educated, he's this, he's that, he's that. He says, don't worry, I think you'll like him. And alhamdulillah, it was Sheikh Firdaus.
Fidos. Wow, that is very interesting and very nice
Mm-hmm.
story. Thank you very much, Ms. Barnes. We do really
Alhamdulillah.
appreciate your time, and it's been a pleasure and very interesting and educative. Also, inspiring story you have shared with us so far.
Mm,
Thank you very much for your time. We do really appreciate it. And welcome to Ghana once again.
thank you so much. I'm very glad to be here.
Yeah.
I'm home.
And thank you too for watching. You can watch this program anytime by visiting our Facebook page at Walikia TV and YouTube channel at Walikia TV. Do like, share, and also leave a comment at the comment section below. I'm your host Adam Yusuf, and we had a special guest today. She goes by the name IYABO, and a very special and a very thank you to her as well. Until next week, it is bye for now.
Thank you.